The 2025 MotoGP season officially kicked off with an action-packed Thailand Grand Prix, but Ducati's technical strategy stole the show. Despite initially relying on the 2024 spec engine, three riders, Marc Marquez, Francesco Bagnaia and Fabio Di Giannantonio, received an updated package. This change seems small, but a deeper analysis shows that Ducati's move is more complex. By delaying the use of the GP25 engine and continuing to optimize the GP24, they believe that last year's bike still has great potential. Will this strategy allow Ducati to dominate again this season? Let's discuss it in detail. Ducati's decision to use different bike specifications for the factory and satellite teams has caused a stir in the MotoGP paddock. The factory team, including Marc Marquez and Bagnaia, use a version of the GP24 that has received a number of improvements, rather than switching completely to the GP25. The modifications include a new swing arm, a gearbox with different specs, and several other minor improvements. Bagnaia himself confirmed that although the basis of his bike remains the same as the one used to win MotoGP in 2024, there are some important differences. The base is still the same, but there are details that have changed. We use a slightly different swing arm, but overall the bike is still very similar to the GP24, said Bagnaia. Ducati have also postponed the introduction of the new chassis and aerodynamic package until at least the Jerez test after the first 5 rounds of the season. In the meantime, satellite riders such as Alex Marquez, Franco Morbidelli and Fermin Aldeguer are using the older version of the GP24, the mid-2014 specification used at the Austrian GP last August. Although the difference in performance between the factory and satellite bikes has been reduced this season thanks to Ducati's strategy, the difference still has a significant impact. Alex Marquez, despite using the old version of the GP24, was able to put in an impressive performance, finishing second twice and even leading the race for a long time. Maybe in one lap the difference is not that big, but in a full race the factory team has a small advantage. However, it is not a very big advantage, said Alex Marquez. One of the main factors in the GP24's advantage over the GP23 is its design, which is better suited to the latest Michelin rear tire construction, unlike the GP23 which was designed for the previous generation of tires. Ducati course general manager Gigi Dall'Igna admitted that although the current performance difference is still within reasonable limits, further developments are planned. We have some other developments that we will try at the Jerez test. So we will do the next 4 races with the current configuration, he said. This suggests that the factory Ducati bike could see significant improvements in the near future, leaving the satellite teams to work harder to catch up. The 2024 Thai Grand Prix was the stage for one of the most impressive performances of the season, with Marc Marquez stealing the show on his official Ducati debut. The Spanish rider immediately proved that he is still one of the best in MotoGP, even though it was his first time riding the Desmercedes in a competitive race. Not only was Marquez able to adapt quickly, but he also showed his dominance by winning the sprint race and the main Grand Prix, an extraordinary achievement that showed his class as an 8-time world champion. Since the first free practice session, Marquez has shown signs of becoming a serious threat to his rivals. With his trademark aggressive racing style, he has been able to explore the full potential of the GP24, Ducati's latest bike which is touted as one of the best machines on the grid. Marquez's ability to grasp the characteristics of his new machine was evident in his lap times, which were consistently at the top of the timesheets, even outperforming other Ducati riders who had been using the bike for longer. One of the main factors that made Marquez's performance so impressive was his ability to manage various aspects of the race, including tire wear and overtaking strategy. He relied not only on his speed, but also on his intelligence to read the situation on the track. On several occasions Marquez showed precise overtaking maneuvers, especially in tight corners, which have long been one of his specialties. His perfect control of the race rhythm also allowed him to control the pace and withstand the pressure from his rivals without making any significant mistakes. Marquez's success in Thailand has also sparked speculation among MotoGP observers and fans. Many are wondering whether this extraordinary performance is entirely down to Marquez's own brilliance, or whether the technological improvements made to the Ducati bike have had a major influence. The Italian manufacturer claims that the technical changes made to the GP24 are relatively minor compared to the previous version. However, Marquez's times and performance on track prove that even if the changes are not too significant, even a small improvement can have a big impact in the world of MotoGP. This success is certainly a signal to the competition that Marquez is not only competitive again, but ready to fight for the World Championship title. With a combination of experience, skill, and a competitive bike, Marquez has once again proven that he is still one of the most dangerous riders on the grid. If his performance continues to be consistent, it is not out of the question that he will be a strong contender for the World Championship this season, adding to his legacy in the world of motorcycle racing. While Marquez and Bagnaia performed brilliantly, Fabio Di Giannantonio faced a tough challenge at the Thailand GP. The collarbone injury he suffered prevented him from participating in pre-season testing, so he started the season in less than optimal condition. He also suffered from fatigue due to the extreme heat of the sprint race. Despite the obstacles, Di Giannantonio was able to finish the main race in the top 10. Riding in MotoGP without knowing the bike, without testing and without proper physical training for my shoulder was like starting from scratch, said Di Giannantonio. His strong determination to remain competitive in the face of physical limitations is commendable. One of the things that surprised Di Giannantonio the most was the big difference between the GP23 and the GP24. Much better, much better. Last year I spoke to some colleagues and they said that the GP23 and GP24 were almost the same. But in reality it's like another world. Much faster, incredible power, amazing traction and much better cornering, he said. Ducati's approach to the 2025 season is very layered and calculated. By offering an updated package to their three main riders, Marc Marquez, Francesco Bagnaia and Fabio Di Giannantonio, Ducati are ensuring that their bikes remain the most competitive on track. These factory riders will receive the latest developments, which are expected to provide advantages in terms of speed, durability and consistency throughout the season. On the other hand, Ducati does not ignore the role of the satellite teams in its overall strategy. Although the GP24 used by the satellite teams is not the latest specification, it is still designed to be competitive and able to put pressure on rivals. This move is part of Ducati's long-term strategy to dominate the grid as a whole, ensuring that every bike they supply still has the potential to achieve maximum results at every race. However, this season has seen a major change with only 6 Ducati bikes on the grid following the decision of the Pramac team to switch to Yamaha. This forced Ducati to adjust their strategy, both in terms of technical development and team management. With a reduced number of bikes on the track, Ducati must be more careful in the distribution of resources and technology in order to remain competitive in the fight for the Riders' and Constructors' World Championships. One of the strategic decisions that can be seen is the use of slightly different bike specifications between the factory and satellite teams. This approach is taken to maximize opportunities in the championship without sacrificing development cost efficiency. In this way, Ducati can remain competitive without experiencing excessive spending spikes, something that is increasingly important in the current era of tight MotoGP regulations. If the Thai GP is any indication, Ducati is set for another dominant season in 2025. Marc Marquez's incredible form, Bagnaia's consistency and Alex Marquez's resilience on the GP24 show that the Italian manufacturer is still the benchmark in MotoGP. Will the new developments at Jerez widen the gap? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.